Welcome back to an episode of the ABL review. I don't know how often I'm going to do these, but man, I got time today, so I figured it would be irresponsible of me not to do this. So, we are going to go through every team of the Iron Sheik Memorial Invitational. 10 teams, a lot to go through. Let's just jump into it. So let's see how this is framed up. Sorry, let me just, that looks fine, right? Should I zoom in more? Kind of like a little bit better how that looks. So we're just gonna roll with that, okay? Okay. So, we got the Blackburn Snover. Dakota and I have talked a lot. I feel like I might have talked about it last time I did coverage for the Iron Sheik Invitational. Fighting types tend to be pretty good in low tiers in standard play. There's not a lot of really good fighting types, and there's not a lot of great fighting type resists. So, Dakota went and took the fastest fighting type on the board, Paldean Tauros. I think it might also be one of the stronger ones. There's quite a few, but they don't have over 100 attack a lot of the time. Like Girders down here, I think that might have 100. We'll get around to it, but Paldean Tauros, quite fast, quite strong. Not a ton of resists around. I think a good call. And obviously the rest of this isn't in draft order, but we'll kind of go through some of his other picks here. Oricorio Fire. Oricorio Bile is technically what it is, but we don't sort him like that. So, unfortunately, this guy's probably going to have heavy-duty boots stapled to him most weeks. Kind of something it has to do, but this can shut down Quiver Dancers, and there's two other Oricorios in the league, so probably going to see it floating around. Rodent Frost, a Dakota staple. I don't like Rotom Frost a lot, basically just because it's tied to heavy-duty boots more than some of the other Rotoms, and it has a less reliable stab. Sure, like, Rotom Fire probably has to run heavy-duty boots, but Overheat is more reliable, I think, than Blizzard. And a better defensive type, but great offensive type. I did glance at the matchup. I don't know if other people do this, but you start looking just okay, how does my team match up against this, even though they've only drafted 4 Pokemon? And Rotom Frost hits, I believe, every Pokemon in this for at least neutral damage with this dual stab. So it doesn't even need coverage. It's not like it's missing out on anything. After that, he's got Mabostiff. Strong dark types, hard to come by. Now, Mabostiff is something that I have used in standard format. The problem is, though, it doesn't get access to Pursuit, which I really wanted to use. Still a very good Pokemon. Incredibly hard to switch in on. Something else that's going to help it is the Pokemon that are going to be best suited to switch in on Dark-type attacks are also going to be the Pokemon that need to switch in on his Paldean Tauros. Like Fairy types. Fighting types not so much, but if you can take out your opponent's fighting type or weaken it significantly, that's really good. After that, he's got Altaria, just a good form of hazard clearing, maybe a little bit of Dragon Dance setup. There's also the Fire Spin Perish Trap song, could be useful. Also, a lot of stuff has Toxic back. Since we're playing National Decks, which I guess I should say right now, I should have said it right at the top. It doesn't say anywhere in the rules, but we're not doing Z Crystals. Z Crystals are not in, not allowed. Gonna try to remember to add it to the rules before this goes out. If you thought we were doing Z Crystals, probably should have clarified, because there was nothing saying that we were doing Z Crystals, and we probably would have made that clear going into the drafting process. We got Weird Ear, another Intimidator, decently strong. Oh, geez. Okay, I got ads on my YouTube video that I'm playing in the background. I'm going to mute that for a minute until that's done. So, Weird Ear, pretty good on the attack and special attack, which is pretty interesting. You don't see that too often. Both over 100. It's kind of hard to find, over 100 stats sometimes. So, especially in this draft pool here. Not as great on the defenses, but really helped out by the fact that it gets Intimidate and has a pretty good HP stat, right? After that, we got Amistar. Shell Smashers are kind of few and far between. Amistar also kind of a really good utility mon. It gets Spikes, Toxic Spikes, Stealth Rock. So I think that is definitely a benefit to having it on the team, in addition to the offensive capability it provides. Does it get weak armor? Like it's got good defense and low speed. It definitely needs like one shell smash might not always do it because of how slow it is. But also there's a lot of slow stuff in this metagame, so probably going to be in good shape there. Muck, really good special defense for this, pretty strong. And some of I think a lot of teams have their defensive Pokemon being grass types, and there's a few that have fairies. Muck can deal with most of them pretty effectively. And just something that gets like reliable knockoff, like you don't want to switch into it. And also sometimes like resist will switch in, that's not a steel type. Let me think of an example. Like fighting, ground, those sorts of things will switch in on it. And Poison Jab with the Poison Touch ability has like over a 50% chance to get the poison. Because 3 out of 10 times you're going to get the poison from Poison Jab itself. And then out of those other 7 times, 30% of the time, so 2.1, you're going to get a poison off of the Poison Touch. So 51% of the time, you're getting a poison with Muck Poison Jabs. Something that's not a Steel type or Poison type, obviously. After that, we've got Probopass. Really high defenses. Unfortunately, a lot of weaknesses, for sure. But Slow Volt Switch, maybe Magnet Pull could come into play, depending on like the matchup. Hard to really rely on that, but also just good to have a bulky steel type because those are scarce. Steel, fairy, and dragon types, one of the most common like archetype trios in higher tiers, is hard to make exist down here unless you really put a lot of like high draft picks into it. After that, we've got Delmise. This is going to be Dakota's heaviest hitter. 3 stabs because of its ability Steelworker. It gets stab on its Poltergeist. Does it get Poltergeist? Yeah, it does. It gets stab on its Poltergeist, Power Whip, and its Anchor Shot, plus having trapping capability. Really good in this. 131 attack, very strong. And then apparently a bit of a snipe on Dakota's part, grabbing Duosion here. Apparently Brett was going for that, kind of fill out his regenerators. Duosion, not great on the bulk, but obviously boosted by Eviolite and has the same special attack as Reuniclus. Not to be underestimated. Dakota's team, a little bit slow. He's got at least 1 Trick Room in Duosion. Like Weirder might get it, but I don't know. So maybe an element there. Duosion obviously I think can operate under own Trick Room decently well. So we'll see how that goes for him. That's an option. That's Dakota's team. Moving on, we've got the Tex Arcana Toxics. Now, I don't think there was a point in time where this was going. I'm just like, oh man, he's making weird picks, but that's just because he took back-to-back Pranksters, along with Wishcast mixed in there, which is the Pokemon I don't think is good. But overall, I like a lot of Pap's choices here. Let's dive into it. So, he managed to get a faster thing in Rapidash at 105, Meowstic M, decently fast at 104. I believe Meowstic Female is also that same speed and has a little bit more offensive capability, which personally I think I would have liked to see here. But Meowstic M, good prankster user, really good disruptor in this. I think that's an important thing to do because you're not always going to have the right matchup, but what you can do is you can just come in, throw up a screen, which is going to allow you to live some hits you wouldn't otherwise live, maybe get off a Yawn or a Thunder Wave. Meowstic's going to be kind of a bailout for him at certain points in time, which I think is a really good thing. Pidgeot. I don't like this pick. If you were looking for like a faster flying normal type that is and stronger that is in this is Dodrio. You could have gone and got Dodrio. You could have gotten Squawkabilly. If you were looking for something like defensive or special attacking, you could have gone and gotten what's it called? Noctowl. This is like the worst flying normal type. This is the worst fully evolved flying normal type, and there are some not fully evolved flying normal types that are better. So, like Rufflet, for example, I would like to see Rufflet here, honestly. So I don't love that pick. I'm gonna rag on it a little bit, right? Kling Klang. Really dangerous setup sweeper in this. I think Kling Klang is gonna do pretty well. Like one shift gear is really gonna skyrocket its speed, which is already pretty good for this format. Which means you can probably afford to run Adamant a lot of weeks, which is only going to make that attack, once it goes to +1, even more threatening. I think that's really good. Kangaskhan's really good here. I believe Kangaskhan gets a wish, which is kind of a beneficial thing here. But just kind of decent all-around stats. Can hit decently hard, has really good coverage. Kangaskhan's a solid pick. Cloth, another generator mon we got around here. Good attack, extra setup capability with Swords Dance and Anger Shell. A lot of things are going to have a hard time OHKOing this on the physical side, like unless they're a pretty strong ground type. I can think of, like Golem was taken. I have the Alolan Doug trio. Those sorts of things are obviously going to be able to break through it, but some people just took a ground type that is like a ground type in name only, like Whiscash. Whiscash, I don't know, unless it's boosted, can OHKO a Cloth, which could activate its Anger Shell, which could really make Cloth into a problem. That being said, let's talk about Whiscash. Whiscash? It's hard to say. Whiscash, the best thing about it is its typing. The fact that it's only got the one weakness. But weak special attacks. Dakota and I have this joke. It's just like, oh no, Whiscash is Dragon Dancing. And when that happens, it's still just a Whiscash. Like, the 78 attack boosted, 60 speed boosted, not super scary yet. After 2 Dragon Dances, okay, now we're talking. But you probably don't have a good opportunity to get up 2 Dragon Dances against a Whiscash. Or like against this league, you're gonna switch into a counter that you probably can't 3-hit KO, and it's probably gonna be able to hit you back because all it needs to do is have a grass move. Next we've got Ampharos. Ampharos, strong, decently bulky, decent coverage. No complaints about this pick. There's a lot of teams that don't really have solid Volt Switchers, and Ampharos is a solid Volt Switcher with slightly lower speed, the ability to take hits, and good attack. I like this Pokemon. Vileplume, went with a mascot pick. Vileplume's a good pick in standard play. I think it's a good pick in this. I think it is a good defensive option. Access to Strength Sap, Sleep Powder. Even Effect Spore is going to cause issues for other people. I think Vileplume's a solid pick. Sableye, same. I'm mixed on this. It's got the same benefits to it that Meowstic Male does. Obviously does a slightly different role, being having the 2 immunities, the Dark and Ghost. It does have a spin block here, but he doesn't have like hazard stacking. So I think Sableye is maybe not the best pick. Based on what this team already had, I think you either go with a different Meowstic, or you go with a, like, Meowstic shouldn't be Meowstic, or Sableye shouldn't be Sableye. But having 2 Prankster users, I guess, is going to give you options on how you want to approach certain problems. They can kind of tag team it. After that, we got Machoke. I like this for a kind of like late draft fighting type. Sorry, I gotta get out. Machoke, what? Not that you have to use this set, but I saw this set. It was like rest, sleep, talk. Yeah, like you can just do like rest, sleep, talk, knock off close combat. And obviously, yeah, you're dropping your defenses, which isn't good, but if you get like rest, sleep, talk, then you're getting guts boosted close combats while you're asleep. And you can stay healthy just by resting, sleep talking. But overall, I think Machoke's probably fine to have here, because you can also, in this lower tier, obviously the speed's not great, but you could probably afford to come out and just like throw a choice band on this 1 week and just try to break through some stuff, because like 100 attack is pretty good, and it's got strong moves. So you got some stuff you can do with it. It's just something that you kind of gotta check. It's a checkbox Pokemon, right? Had to get a fighting type, and he got it. Okay, next we got the Washington Wartortle sporting a new logo. So we're gonna talk about his first overall pick, and we're not gonna go down the list of fastest like we've been going down with everybody else. He took Wailord first overall. Now, let's talk about Wailord. 90 attack, 90 special attack, not horrible for this. 45 defense and special defense is misleading because of the massive HP stat of 170. 60 is kind of the low end of speed. But maybe you might be wondering, like, hey, I haven't seen Wailord before. What does Wailord do? Doesn't do anything. It's, I think his best use of it is, I've seen people run, like, block, rest, sleep talk, and, I don't know, some damaging move, just like return or whirlpool or something, just to do some consistent damage. You don't even have to try to kill, like, just pressure, just like stall things out. You can you can throw toxic on it. Wailord is a stall Pokemon, is probably its best use. And I don't think it's good, but you could use it. He followed that up with an Appleton pick, which then I started to think, okay, maybe he's focusing on, because he said he made some joke that he was focusing on stall. That's another reason to bring up the stall Wailord set. I'm like, okay, I guess that's kind of where he's going, but he probably has to start moving on your traditional stall targets. You should probably get an Unaware Mon, a Magic Guard Mon. Trapping is something that you see on a lot of stall teams. You probably want to try to get a Cleric, because like Heal Bell and Aromatherapy are more prevalent than they've been ever before. He didn't go that route. He went with Zebstrika, which I'm going to come out and say right now is... Hold on, I would just want to think about it, because I was going to say it's the worst fully evolved electric type Pokemon. And without diving too deep into it, I'm going to pull back on that. It is my least favorite. I think it's got a lot of problems, although on paper it seems good. One of the problems is it's got a higher attack than special attack, so it's got to rely on those bad physical electric moves like Wild Charge and Supercell Slam. Biggest thing it's got going for it is the 2 immunities, which I thought kind of paired decently well with Wailord. But after that, we've got Pokemon like Miltank. Miltank's a solid Pokemon. I'm in favor of it. Mr. Mime was something that was on my list to maybe look at. Pretty fast, pretty strong, special attacking fairy, hard to come by in this format. Golbat, very bulky, does kind of fit with the stall aspect. Mightyena, a late addition. Feels like this is mostly just here to check off having a dark type and maybe get a Sucker Punch. This could be used as, like, Mightyena has like Super Fang, Poison Fang,
signature seasoning and buttery
and like Taunt, stuff like that I do think you could use as kind of an anti-stall sort of thing I've seen before. Orthworm, I don't think it's good on this team because his only ground type weakness is Zebstrika. So it's only blocking Earthquakes for Zebstrika. And otherwise, it's just like a rocker. Colossal's a solid pick. It was something I was considering, so I'm behind that one. Girder, 105 attack. We were kind of talking about that before. Girder's a solid pick. Ninjask is kind of a weird pick because I don't think that Ninjask has a lot of good passing targets. Like, you want to pass speed to something? Colossal's not going to do a lot, even with a ton of speed. Girder might be able to do more, but I think overall Girder's best benefit is just being bulky and being able to stick around a long time. Maybe you could do it with Mightyena, maybe you could do it with Miltank. Overall, I think Ninjask is a net negative. That's not true, not net negative, but it's a neutral pick. Sorry to dunk on your team here, Mike, but I don't see how these guys work together, and it seems like by taking Wailord first overall, you kind of set yourself up in a weird direction. Best thing you did, though, is you did make it so that way no one else's first round picks can really be critiqued. Okay, moving on. We've got the Alabama Crimson Hive, Logan's team. Logan, he almost had that Pokemon. He went with Beedrill. Beedrill, decent attack, not a great speed, but in this, speed's a little bit more subjective. Like in standard play, it's not really a fast Pokemon unless it's over 100 base speed. There's so few Pokemon with over 100 base speed. Now, like 110 base speed is elite in this. So 100 base speed is like the equivalent to 120 base speed in standard play. And then like 90 base speed is probably the equivalent to like 100 base speed. So Logan does have two things above that. Beedrill is probably the equivalent to like an 85 base speed in standard play. I'm okay with it. Decent attack, not a good pick by any means, but a better comparable pick than Wailord, in my opinion. Other stuff he's got going on here. Beautifly is a bad pick. He's looking for a Quiver Dancer. There's a lot better ones that he could have gone with. Avalug's a good pick. I like Avalug. I think Kecleon might do kind of well here just because it's got really good Spadef, and the Protean switching types and everything is probably going to be a good benefit. Except for the Protean nerf, I didn't think about how much that negatively impacts Kecleon. Because before it would be able to change every turn. So that's worse. Could be a problem. Lampent, I actually think is pretty good. A lot of teams have fire types. Lampent with the flash fire and then also being a fighting immunity, I actually think is pretty solid. Plus it's got a decent special attack. I'm on board with this one. Vullaby, good solid pick. We already talked about Beautifly. Dragonaire's not great, but like it's going to do the one thing. It's going to be like rest Dragon Dance plus 2 attacks and just try to shed skin off. Kind of luck based, but I can see it. Played all. Best Papermon in the business. By that, I mean, it's good on paper. You look at it and it checks off so many boxes. It's like, oh man, it's an Edgequake resist. It's got Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, Energy Ball, Psychic, Earth Power. It's got a great special defense. It's got Stealth Rocks. I think it might have spikes. Don't quote me on that. It's got Rapid Spin. It's so cool. It's never really found good success. But it checks off so many things on paper. It's a great Papermon. I like the Electabuzz pick. Electabuzz I think is actually really underrated as an electric type. It's got a good move pool. It's got good speed. It's got decent special attack. I like it a lot. Liepard I also think is very good. Great speed, like below average attack and special attack, but a lot of the times you're going to be using it for Prankster, maybe a Nasty Plot. This is another Disruptor Pokemon, and I think it's really good at what it does. And then Bibarel, I think, is a really under-the-radar good pick. Because of its ability Simple, it can Swords Dance up, and it gets an automatic +4. And then it's got Aqua Jet and Quick Attack, and honestly, decent speed for what we got going on here. Bibarel, really solid pick. I think Logan's team's got a lot of misses. I wouldn't say more misses than hits, though. I think this is overall a pretty good team. Unbalanced for sure, but I do think it fits Logan's style of play. Also, I guess something I want to note. I think he's the only person who didn't pick... He's one of the few people who didn't pick up a fighting type. I think... Let me double check here. Okay, he's one of like maybe 2 or 3 people. Never mind, I'm lying. Yeah, I was gonna say he didn't pick up a fairy, but he doesn't have a steel, so he doesn't have a dragon resist. Not that there's a lot of dragons, but could be the teams that have dragons is probably going to be something that they're going to try to exploit against him. Next, we're moving on to my team. I'm not going to spend too much time on my team because I don't like talking about my own stuff too much. But I went and got Doug Trio. Needed ground type. Got 2 immunities. Pretty good speed tier. Pretty strong. Happy with that one. Simisear was a late game addition. I actually tried to trade for Lampent, but Logan wasn't interested. Decent speed, decent attacking stats. Not great coverage, but something I can work with, right? Dockspun. Dockspun's something I really wanted. Between having a fire immunity, good fighting resist, decent speed, decent defense, and being a wish passer, I like Dockspun. Oricorio Electric, same reasons I talked about Oricorio Fire on Dakota's team. I like the ability to kind of like check Quiver Dance if it is to be brought. Also checks other Oricorio Electric checks other Oricorios better than the other ones beat each other, because like if they try to Revelation Dance me, I have an electric type Revelation Dance to go, and I get that for free, and then that is super effective damage where nobody has that against me. Ruxish, I'm super excited to use, something I've always wanted to use in standard play, but I could just never justify taking it. But it's got a decent speed tier for this, really good attack, excited about that one. Absol, checked like 3 things I look for in a dark type. It's like there's the big 3 dark type moves, especially in Nat decks. Sucker Punch, Pursuit, Knockoff. Like each one of those is a point in my opinion. And oh jeez, these ads are killing me. You can go ahead and click Sucker Punch. It's strong Sucker Puncher, strong Pursuiter, and strong Knockoffer. Only one other Pokemon I think in this format has access to those 3 moves and is a dark type, and it's got almost 40 less attack stat than this, so I'm super happy about that. Roselia is something I targeted super early on. Decent special attacking stat for the tournament here, or for the Invitational rather, it's not a tournament. Grass type, poison type, toxic spiker, decently bulky because of Eviolite. I'm happy with the Roselia pick. Wartortle is a late game thing. I was really debating between Wartortle and like Quaxwell, because I really wanted to get a spinner. Wasn't able to get a spin blocker, but I figured between the 2 of them, I probably wanted to get a spinner. Graplocked, Pokemon that I really love. You got to get a fighting type, one of the stronger ones available. So pretty happy with that. Drampa. What I've been doing now, not to give away all my secrets, not that I have many secrets, but in the past like couple drafts I've done, if I'm not specifically thinking about a special attacking Pokemon, then what I'll do at some point is I'll take the full list and I will sort by special attack, and I'll take something in the top 5 that I haven't taken before, because I feel like physical attackers are a dime a dozen. Elite special attackers, very few and far between. Drampa is a really strong special attacker in this. Not a ton of fairies, not a ton of steals. I'm excited to have Drampa around. Spidops, decently bulky, can take ground and fighting type moves with relative ease. It's never going to really put up attacking numbers, but the fact that it's got a slow U-turn, being able to stack hazards, and take some has the typing to take on some important hits, I really like for it. Next, we've got Jabron. Jabron's got a really interesting team. So he took Phalanx. We knew somebody was going to take Phalanx. It was another one of those, just fully formed fighting types. You have to take it. This is the best opportunity for Phalanx to be good that it's ever going to have. Not that it's a bad Pokemon by any means, but it struggles in standard formats because of the bevy of options to deal with it. Phalanx is this is, like I said, its best chance to be good. Sceptile, elite speed here, and decent attacking stats for where we are. Remember, Shed Tail is not allowed. Pyroar, always a staple in the Iron Sheik Invitationals. It's going to be good here. Dracloak. We've seen Dracloak, I think, used in Iron Sheik Invitational number 4 before by Zhang, if I recall correctly. It's a ghost type, it's a dragon type, it's pretty fast, it's not weak. It can do something. Particularly like I think it gets Hex and Hex T-Wave Will-O-Wisp, that whole combination. Could be really annoying. Rotom Fan. Good typing in this. Resists fighting off the ground. It's a good thing to have around. Lycanroc Knight. It's another Pokemon that I've always been like, oh, it's not so great in standard. This is the time for it to be good because it's relatively fast compared to everything else that's down here. and those no guard stone edges are going to hit pretty hard. Not a lot of options to deal with it. Tinkatuff. I'm excited to see how Jabron uses it. It's not something I've seen used before, but good typing, and I'm interested to see what he does. Clawwitzer is an elite special attacker in this. The 120 special attack is actually significantly better just because of its ability. I think that's going to be a scary amount to switch into. Ursaring, really good down here. Like the quick feet set can be effective just because of the lower speed ceiling. Eviolite set is also just going to be as effective as ever. I think it's really good. Wigglytuff went a lot later than I expected. Wigglytuff was something that people were kind of clamoring. I remember the season 2 Pokemon draft. Wigglytuff also went late, but that was in a standard draft because people just wanted fairy types. I think Wigglytuff is less effective as a fairy in this format because of the lack of dragons, but Ghost type is pretty effective down here because there's not a lot of solid resists. Like, not a lot of people take normal types. If you can get a good normal or Ghost type, it can be a problem. So he's got Wigglytuff, kind of playing dual role there. I think that's probably pretty good. And then another really good special attacker is Alolan Exeggutor. Jabron did not skimp on the special attackers here. Probably, I'm not going to look right now, but he's probably one of the few teams that has a higher average special attack than physical attack in the league. So now we've got Brett. Brett, we likened his team to like a mid-2000 San Antonio Spurs team. Just the most fundamental and boringly good team that you can imagine. Nothing on here is like the most fun thing on here is I mean I like Persian. Persian's fun. Pinsir's kind of fun. Behem is kind of fun. But overall this is just a really good team. Persian, really fast, really annoying, between like the fake out knockoff U-turn, annoying. Typhlosion, going to be very good in this. One of the reasons I think a lot of people are looking for Flash Fire users is Typhlosion. Rotom, just a solid, good Pokemon. Good speed. We talked about Ghost types. Good Volt Switcher, Nasty Plot, Will-O-Wisp, T-Wave, all the good stuff. Articuno, gonna be kind of hard to kill in this if you didn't specifically find a rock user. Really the way you're gonna have to get, it's gonna be even harder to get past it than in the past because it's gonna, I don't remember if it lost Defog before. I think it did. Now it's got Defog back. It's got Toxic. I don't think it has had access to heavy duty boots and Toxic and Defog all in the same generation before. So Articuno might be looking kind of good. Pinsir. Pinsir's also a rocker. I don't know how much that's going to come into play. But could be good. Skuntank, one of the other Pokemon I was talking about that has access to Pursuit, Knockoff, and Sucker Punch. Obviously significantly weaker than the other Pokemon we talked about that gets access to those. But also, by the way, I was talking about specifically in this format, Pokemon that get all those moves, so don't double check me. But Skuntank, really good. Got the only one weakness. And got a good variety of moves there. I think it'll be good. Tangela, something that everyone knew Brett was going to target. We just didn't know when. Great defense, access to Regenerator. Going to be really hard for people to break through. And honestly, not even a bad special attack for the Pokemon it is. 100 special attack is fine here. Throw, it's a fully evolved fighting type. Decent stats, pretty bulky, not something that you can choose to ignore. Behem. Behem's in an interesting spot. Analytics, so it's hard to switch into. Very strong special attack, an elite special attacker down here. It has really strong psychics, really strong shadow balls, and it even has Signal Beam to be able to hit the incoming dark types and other psychic types that might want to switch in on it. So really good. Rhydon, another fundamental guy. Like, good bulk, access to Eviolite, great stats. Just, what can you say? After that, we've got Zane. Zane's draft is all over the place, man. I don't know what to make of this. We'll just, it doesn't have, I don't look at it and be like, ooh, this is what it does. But he's one of the other few people who took a Sticky Weber. I think that's going to be important in this. I think he's going to get good value out of Ariados. He's got Murkrow, Disruptor, good call. Jinx is really good in this format, decent speed, decent attack. One of the few good Ice Beamers in the league as a whole. Just, super bad defense. Historically bad defense. Historically bad defense. Togedemaru is a good pick. Tauros is a good pick. Alolan Persian's a good pick. His top 4 here, really solid Pokemon. Exeggutor is tough to use because of its speed and typing. So I hope we can see some value out of it. It's tough though. I think there was better options for Exeggutor back when Terra was available. Not so much the case anymore. Dusknoir is kind of a staple in these sorts of things. Really bulky, decently strong. That high defenses plus the low HP is actually really beneficial for Dusknoir in particular because of how Pain Split works. So really cool for Dusknoir. Golem, really solid Pokemon, especially when combined with Custat Berry. Wishy-Washy, obviously these stats don't tell the story of Wishy-Washy. I think Wishy-Washy is a very difficult Pokemon to use. I hope Zane proves me wrong. I hope it has a really good season. Turtonator, something else I'd considered. If I didn't have Drampa, I probably would have looked at Turtonator because great defense, access to Shell Smash, and gets Rapid Spin. So checks a lot of boxes. After that, we've got the Santa Fe Suicune. Now, I kind of went back and forth with Ishii a little bit on this because I don't super agree with his team building philosophy. I don't think it's a bad team, but it's not the way I like to build teams. He went with a pretty bulky team. That seems to be his forte, seems to be the thing he likes. Cragonal's pretty bulky, but it's got access to Freeze Dry, really important. Ice Beam plus Freeze Dry hits almost everything, neutrally. It's so strong. So it's water move plus Freeze Dry. I think that is the thing that hits almost everything. But I think Cragonal might have Water Pulse back, who knows? But Fast, Haze, Rapid Spin, that's also something he did. He took 3 different Rapid Spinners, kind of cornered the market on there. So if you're really looking to get a Rapid Spinner in a trade, he's the guy to go to. Haunter, good mod, a Pokemon I was initially considering. Decent speed, decent special attack, strong Shadow Balls, hard to come by. I think it gets Sludge Wave. It might only be Gengar that gets Sludge Wave, but either way, very strong in that regard. I think that's good. Dubwool's going to be interesting. I think that Dubwool is very bulky, doesn't have a lot of options offensively, but could cause some teams trouble. Malamar, I think Malamar doesn't get Sucker Punch, but does get Knockoff and Pursuit. Only the weaknesses to Bug and Fairy, which are not super common in this. So we might actually see Malamar thrive a little bit with those firing off those superpowers. Sandslash, solid Pokemon. Stealth Rocks, Spikes, Rapid Spin, Strong Earthquakes. I think that one's good. Walrein. Walrein's not a Pokemon I'd ever really considered strongly before. Ishii had said it's like an upgraded Dugong, which I had never thought about because I think, because Dugong's got Flip Turn, which is the thing that I like about it. And I know Dugong's got decent bulk. It can do, it's got okay stats. Walrein is better in almost every way. I think Dugong has 5 more speed and 5 more SpDef, but every other stat is at least 10 to 15 better on Walrein. So I think Walrein might do pretty good for him. No Flip Turn, unfortunately, but he's going to be absolutely able to just soak up hits. Flareon, Pokemon I love, another Pokemon I was considering before Ishii took him. So me and him have a lot of parallel draft thoughts there. I was taking Flareon just because I needed a Flash Fire Pokemon, and a Fire type in general. So, but he obviously wanted to build bulky, and I think he's got that with like Eldegoss. Not going to be doing a lot of much of anything offensively, but really good on the defensive side. All while not super strong in this. Sheer Force can kind of boost it a little bit, but it definitely does need some help. But it also got arguably the best typing in the game. Oh, jeez. Alolan Golem, really interesting in this. Very strong. It's got a... I think that there's a lot of water types, so you want to have an electric type that's going to be able to break through them, and it can do that. Rock type's not super common, and it does have access to Magnet Pull. I don't know how much that's going to come into play, but definitely something to keep an eye out for. And then Vespiquen, this is basically his fighting type answer. Vespiquen's going to be able to take on fighting types decently well. So we'll see how that goes. And finally, we're going to end it with the Orlando Magikarp. Another just really solid team, top to bottom. I've already done a little bit of planning for him, and I can tell you, like, Kyle doesn't make stinkers of teams. He puts together solid teams. Raichu, great speed, gives him an immunity. Really good here. Houndoom, 2 immunities, decent speed, decent attack, and special attack. It's plus nasty plot, and it's got the exact coverage it needs to be able to take on some of its like the things that could cause it problems in this. Oricorio P, I'm surprised he went with the psychic one and not the ghost one, but he must have just been looking at other ghosts or didn't see any other psychics he liked. Nothing against Oricorio P, I just do think ghost is a little bit better. Garbodor, really good pick that he got very late in the draft. Mantine was very contentious whether or not we should allow Mantine. And in the end, we just decided, hey, let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. Might very well regret it. Komala, really strong in this. I like Komala a lot. U-turn, it gets return, last resort. The last resort sleep talk set is definitely in play, something people are going to have to watch out for. It gets return, sucker punch, U-turn, wish, a lot of good stuff, and plus just a status absorber, really good at that. Mienfoo, regenerator, U-turn, decently strong, could even go ahead and run like, I don't know if it's got the speed to do it in this, but like it could run choice band, reckless, high jump kick, and really catch a lot of people off guard. Quilladin is an interesting choice. We were kind of teasing Kyle about like, oh, go with Thwacky, but looking at poison types in the league, a lot of them don't get Sludge Wave, like the special attack ones. A lot of them don't get Sludge Wave, so they have to rely on Sludge Bomb, and Bulletproof allows Quilladin to be immune to that. Also can soak up Focus Blasts and Shadow Balls. And there's probably another move like that I'm forgetting, but could be a difference maker. Berserker something we see taken in regular play quite a bit. Very strong, not as bulky as you'd like out of a steel type, but I think he'll serve Kyle pretty well for this. Granbull, longtime favorite of mine and Kyle's. One of the few physical attacking fairies. Very strong even without investment. Intimidate bumps that physical defense up to another level. I feel like it used to get Stealth Rock. Maybe I'm wrong. But like Thunderwave, Play Rough, Earthquake, I think it gets all the elemental punches, Earthquake, stuff like that. Can be very effective. Palossand, I think this is like the opportunity for it to really shine. Not a lot of big, scary special attackers for it to have to deal with. I think Palossand is going to do decently well. So I'd said something. Let me double check. I had a stat here. Yeah, 87. I wanted to see if anything else anybody had a higher average special attack than 87. 85. Dakota here got close. Not because he's got anything particularly high, but he doesn't have anything particularly low. So yeah, I wanted, it was still in the back of my mind, like how good is that 87 for the New England Pat Rats special attack, and holds up quite well. Let's see who's got the fastest team. We'll do a little bit of Chicago so far. New England again. So fastest team is New England. Highest special attack is New England. But highest special defense, I think I know that this is going to be, I feel like this is going to be here. Maybe not. 73, 69, 75, 88. Wow. Dakota jumping up there with an 88 SPDEF. What's giving him that? Just a bunch of stuff at 100 plus Probo Pass. Yeah. Let's just finish this up. Defense. Who's got the highest defense? It might be Dakota again. 94 is very good. It's funny that Logan has 70 something and he's got Avalug on the team. Yeah, so Dakota's got the highest defenses. Who's got the highest attack? 85, 85, 85, 79, 88. A lot of okay, so me and Brett and Kyle are all tied at 88. Highest defense. Is this a fun game? I'm having fun. 86 on the Suicune. Let's see. That's gonna be hard to. Oh, 90. Jeez, what's he got that's giving him 90? Rhydon, Tangela, Barbarical, Pinsir. Yeah, I think that's gonna probably do it. If anybody can jump out with a 90 plus. Oh, and it's Dakota. Dakota has the bulkiest team in the league. Oh, did we already do defense? Okay, HP. Let's just wrap it up with HP. 87 is probably going to be it solely because of Whale Lord. Closer than I thought for some of these guys. But those are some stats I just clicked through. That can't have been fun to just look at me do that. So sorry about that. But that is what we got going on. So a couple little minor notes if you're still watching this for some reason, because there's no way I didn't drive people away with that last bit. Everyone's going to play everyone once. Whoever has the best record is going to be the Iron Sheik Memorial Invitational champion. And you're probably asking, hey, does that come with a cash prize? No. Logan will pay you by check. And then if there's a tie in the record, well, you played head-to-head. Unless you happened to take a tie that week and you both are like, 8-0-1, then you just have to play each other. You have to make up that game. That's what it'll be. So, or you can split the check that Logan will give you. Like I said, no Terra, no Z crystals. But you have 5 ad drops, no limit on when you can use them. So I think that addresses most of the things. Yeah, and feel free to trade as much as you want whenever you want, 'cause since there's no playoffs, you can trade right up to the final week of the season. I think that's gonna wrap it up though for me. If you're listening to this, it's hopefully you're listening to. Oh, geez, these fucking ads. If you're still listening to this, it's hopefully coming out on Tuesday. Get me any ad drops by noon on Wednesday. Your week 0 ad drops if you want to make any. I'm strongly considering it. So thank you guys for listening. I don't know if I'll see you next week. No promises. Goodbye.